I think the Free Gaza movement, and in fact the whole international solidarity movement, has been a really inspiring development. And it started in the 80s, directed to Central America, since spread all over the world. It's something totally new in the history of imperialism, never anything like it. And it's pretty effective. I mean, in the case of Gaza, the constant efforts to break the siege, whether they work or not, they're a step forward. I mean, if Israel, rams the boats and takes them to shore, okay, then that's an organizing technique. If they get through, that's great. You're getting some humanitarian aid, and it's very courageous. People have been killed, a lot have been beaten. Myriad Maguire, who's taken part in these things, has been kidnapped by the Israeli Navy, shot by Israeli forces. Unfortunately, it's not well known. I suppose it's known in Ireland, but in the United States, it doesn't get reported. But these are really important moves. And I guess that's the one thing that can, sooner or later, turn U.S. government policy. And that's the real target. Because as long as the U.S. government continues to support and participate in the Israeli occupation, it will be like South Africa. As long as the United States openly supported it, South Africans didn't care if everyone else was against it. I mentioned before a South African minister who told his U.S. counterpart back in the early 60s that we don't really care if the UN votes against us because there's only one vote. That's yours. It's what it means to be the sovereign of the world. So as long as you're with us, we can forget the rest. And Israel's in the same situation. So I think the target of that one goal is to help the Palestinians directly, and they need it. I mean, it's bad enough in the West Bank, terrible in the West Bank, but Gaza is just criminal. So anything that can help them is fine, but also tactics that will aim to build up opposition to U.S. government policies internationally in the United States and compel a shift of policy there and get them to join the world. That's critically significant. It means here too. I mean, if the European Union kind of follows along behind the United States, it's more support for U.S. policies. They don't have to. I mean, Europe can take an independent stand, and Ireland can help push Europe towards an independent stand, and that'll depend on the understanding and mood of people here.